back on Get Up. It was the game of the year. It was the play of the year. It was everything and then some. It was Buffalo, Minnesota yesterday. Third quarter. Vikings are down 17. Gotta have it. Delvin Cook.
This is as good as you can run outside zone to the weak side. Justin Jefferson comes down, blocks the safety. Cook sets up the corner. One move, runaway 85-yard touchdown.
27-17, ensuing Bills position. Third and 15. Stephon Diggs. Rex, this is the best catch you've ever seen?
Best catch I ever saw.
In that moment.
In that moment. I think someone better than that. But there's one coming, I think. But look at that catch. It's ridiculous.
This was the best catch of the half hour. Later in the drive, 4th and 2. Allen, Danny, how does he let this happen?
He has to, Green. It's 4th down. What do you want to run out of bounds with the ball? I mean, it's a really nice play by Patrick Peterson to fall off. But Josh, 4th down, make sure the ball at least gets out of your hands. He's trying to force that ball to the back of the end zone. Credit Minnesota's defense.
Why is he making a tackle and leading with his injured elbow?
Because he's a maniac.
Because he's a football player. He would stay in the game. Vikings down 10, 2nd and goal, red zone. C.J. Ham.
Sometimes you just got to feed the fullbacks. Allow them to touch the ball just a little bit. Great little fullback dive.
Extra point, no good. Now, 2 minutes left. This is 4th and 18. RC, what?
He went to LSU, period. That's what it is. You look at this catch by Justin Jefferson. He's showing the world that I'm the best player at this position in the entire NFL. Kirt has done this time and time again. If it's Justin and somebody else, I'm trusting Justin, and so am I.
Best catch ever?
Best catch ever. And you know why? Because, look, Odell's might have been better, but not in the situation. 4th and 18.
I think it's great ball placement.
It's the game a lot. And then Jefferson, who had the greatest game ever. It looks like he just won it, but hold on. On 3rd and goal, his knee is down just inside the 1-yard line. They go for it on 4th down. Rex, do you like the play call?
Hell no, he's 130 pounds. Why are you running the quarterback?
And so so stupid. Buffalo made the defensive stop. The Bills are going to win.
They won the game right there. Way to go, Buffalo.
It's over.
I told you Buffalo was going to win that game.
Bills Mafia. Dan, all you have to do is not fumble in your own end zone.
Well, when you don't practice it a lot, it's foreign territory. Watch Josh Allen's hands separate a little bit on that snap. They don't practice this a lot. Center's getting hit, so his spot's going to move. There's a lot of variables attached.
You don't practice
No,
that.
Absolutely. People are like, what do you mean it's just a snap? Yeah. They're submarining your offensive line.
Absolutely.
You don't practice it live. You don't.
So the Vikings take a lead, but they leave time on the clock for the Bills. Gabriel Davis does not catch this football, and inexplicably, the booth does not stop it to review. No, he did not. The ball was moving when it hit the ground. In the meantime, they get Isaiah McKenzie. They set it up for a game-tying field goal.
Really good job in that 2-minute drill. This is one of the reasons why you love the quarterback, because you always have a chance. Get that ball into field goal range, and they go into overtime.
That's where we hear the Vikings 3rd and 10 from the 26. Jefferson again.
When he threw the ball, it's like, don't throw that. Oh, interception. Somehow that ball got in between, and Jefferson's ready for it on the right shoulder.
But they managed not to score a touchdown. So Greg Joseph, a 33-yard field goal. Vikings take a 3-point lead. So now Allen and the Bills. A field goal ties it, a touchdown wins it, and he would do it with his legs.
It just felt like Josh Allen was about to take this football game over. It's his greatest quality, the competitiveness that he has. Not only taking off, he's starting to run dudes over. This is another one where he's going to break away. No one's open. I'm the best player on the field right now. I'm going to run through everybody. And Greeny, here's the thing. In this moment, you're in field goal range.
Right.
You've done the number one goal. Get the ball to at least a field goal opportunity.
But instead, he does this.
The recoil, right there. The recoil is everything. Patrick Patterson's falling in on that little in-breaking route. There's the check down, and all of a sudden, Buffalo's shocked that Minnesota pulled off that win.
The fans can't believe it. Allen can't believe it. Cousins says, you like that. Vikings win the game of the year. Here was Allen after.
Losing sucks. Sucks this way, even worse. Horrendous second half. I got to be better. We got to be better. Comes down to my shoulders and my shoulders only, making the right decisions, making the right throws. This one's going to suck watching.
Okay, so we have cleared the decks to give ourselves plenty of time to dive into all the things that happened in what was the best game of the year. And Dan, I cannot help but notice that the Bills seem to play many of the most memorable NFL games we see. And the one thing they all have in common is they tend to lose almost all of them at the end. What is that about?
Well, first of all, I want to talk about Josh Allen's sound right there. And I love the accountability that he has. But here's the thing that stands out the most when he says, it's on my shoulders to make the right throws. And I think that's kind of what you're hinting at, Greeny. I always say this, don't make good decisions, make the right decisions. Josh Allen is Superman. But right now his kryptonite is those moments in the biggest throws, he forces the football. His greatest attribute is his competitiveness and his arm talent. Watch the recoil right there. That recoil right there, sometimes, more often than not, he gets away with that, right? Because he's so talented. Look at the back on the check down right here. That recoil, I want to rip it. Nope, not there. Josh, reset your feet a little bit and dump it off. And it's easy for us and me to say it in this moment, but we saw it last week. You and I did it against the Jets. Second down, he wants to go rip a ball. It's not there. And everything he's telling him, it's not there. And he's just like, it is, because I'm Josh. You know, and it's because he's so talented and he can. And just to throw that check down. And it's his greatest attribute, Greeny. It is. It's why he's Josh Allen. And I don't think the conversation is an easy one. I really don't. I don't think it's black and white because you want him to walk out in those moments and feel like I'm the baddest dude on the field and I can make any play. But you got to reel him in a little bit with his competitiveness.
Rex, but I think it is an easy conversation. I'll tell you why. I mean, I get everything you're saying about Josh. You don't want to, you know, he's got to be that way for you to be successful as a team and for him to be successful. However, there is a golden rule. And the golden rule, and you know this, Dan, if anytime you're in a red zone, it's touchdowns or checkdowns.
Sure.
Okay? And you can add a check down can also be a scramble for a quarterback like this.
Sure.
All right? When you're throwing the ball
recoil
in the end zone, it's us or nobody. And I'm sorry, but those are the golden rules. That's all he has to understand. Look, a few years ago, he was the #1 red zone quarterback in the league. In fact, I sat here on our show and said that I would take Josh Allen #1 over any quarterback, over Patrick Mahomes, because what separated was his ability in the red zone. Mm-hmm. But right now, we've seen six turnovers Josh has had in the red zone in the last 2 years. He's got to clean it up.
So all year long, I feel like the one given we've had is, well, Buffalo's great. Who can play? All of a sudden, they're third in their division. Oh, by the way, right this minute, all 4 teams from the AFC East would be in the playoffs if the season were to end. Obviously, a lot of football left. Do you have real questions now about the Bills?
Absolutely. And I think the questions come from my early on naivety or stupidity even. I was like, nah, it's the Bills over everybody.
Right.
And now I'm kind of like, oh, the Bills are like everybody. Right? When you look at this team, there was a fear you walked into Orchard Park with. Even when the Buffalo Bills came into your building, you think, oh, man, they got Josh. They got this #1 defense. Von Miller is now rushing the passer. And you felt like, I don't know what we're going to do to win. Guess what? Let Josh help you. Right? That's what we've seen. We've seen Josh Allen, who I believe is one of the greatest talents playing football at any position, not just the quarterback position. We've watched him help teams win. Yeah. We watched him help the Jets win. We watched him not get in field goal range late against the Miami Dolphins. We watched him miss a spike against the Miami Dolphins. We've seen all these things, and they're not just on Josh, because a lot of it is the reason you're in the game is because of Josh.
Yeah,
right.
But I don't think it's an easy concept.
And so in this, like, think about this team in the red zone. You mentioned Josh Allen being the guy you want in the red zone. They have the lowest rate in the entire NFL of scoring points in the red zone. They're at 74%.
Yeah.
The other team is 85. You're not supposed to be that with Josh Allen. This team, as good as they are, at 6-3, is underachieving.
Yeah, I agree with that. So if you go back to the start of last season, 2021, Josh Allen leads the NFL in interceptions thrown. So you're in this world where you've got this crazy talented player and he can make any throw on the field at any moment. He makes such good decisions. But in those moments where the ball matters the most situationally, you've got to get him to cut. Because, like, I think it's easy for us to sit here and pick apart everything. Like, I'm sitting here and saying that recall. But my brain just went back to the game against Kansas City, I think 2 weeks ago. Remember where he points like this, mid-play to Dawson Knox, and he rips that? So it's like you want him to be who he is in those moments, but you also got to figure, like, I think this falls a little bit on coaching, if I'm being honest. 2 situations yesterday. They had 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2 down in the red zone, and then another one, 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2. And those 5 plays, they only ran the ball once. You know, so it's...
And Singletary played well early. You had the one drive, 4 runs in a row.
You know what I'm thinking? Like, again, I think this is such a nuanced conversation because are they making him feel so much like I got to do this all on my own with the play calling at times? In that situation, or only run the ball once. That's why I feel like.
So I learned last year you can't say quarterbacks are broken because people get really pissed off where those quarterbacks play. But right now, Josh Allen is having a time in this season where he has to come to Jesus himself.
Yeah,
where he has to realize that, yes, I can do everything at all times, but I don't have to do everything at all times.
Do you think it's hard to, like, curb that competitiveness while also making sure that he doesn't lose his stinger?
But
Oh,
Dan,
hell yeah,
is that just competitiveness though, Rex?
Yeah.
Like, is he just trying to compete? I feel like he's trying to say, I'm the reason we're going to win.
But who do we have this conversation about in the past?
Patrick Mahomes.
So I think he's a little bit what Patrick was, maybe the back end of 20 and the early part of 21. That's what I really feel he is right now.
Final word on this, Rex, on Josh Allen.
I'm just saying this. Look, the guy is super competitive. You never want to take that away from him. You never want to take his stinger away. But there's the golden rule. The team is more important than the individual in those moments. And when you sit back in the red zone, it has to be crystal clear with this quarterback that, no, it's the golden rule. Us or nobody, when you throw the ball in the end zone, it's touchdowns and checkdowns like it is for every other quarterback in the league.
We'll talk more about him as we go. We cannot let this conversation end without saying the words Justin Jefferson again. Because obviously the catch is ridiculous, but his whole game, RC, he played as good a game as any player in the NFL has played this year.
From start to finish, Justin Jefferson was the best player on a field with a ton of All-Pros and a ton of Pro Bowlers. Every single play that he needed to make, he made. And that's what I think Rex is talking about why this catch is the best catch he's ever seen, because you have to have it. This wasn't some frivolous moment in the game where if Justin Jefferson doesn't catch this ball, we still have a chance to win. He had to catch the ball. The defender has two hands on it. And we're going to talk about the way that Josh Allen competes. And sometimes when we watch football, we look at competing as physicality, right? Like, look how physical he is. Look how tough. Nah, sometimes it's about being more skilled than the other guy. Sometimes it's about fighting the way that Justin Jefferson has. And he's the single reason on this team why Kirk Cousins is playing better, because he makes catches where the ball placement doesn't have to be great.
Look at the confidence that Kirk Cousins has in this young man. He never should have made that throw. Are you kidding me? And he goes up and catches it. We see him run the 7 route. Right? In the two defenders, throws it into a team meeting, and guess what? His guy catches it. Why? His competitiveness is unreal, and his skill level's unmatched.
Look at that on your screen there. Every one of his 10 catches yesterday were in tight or neutral windows. He makes unbelievable plays. And we've talked about Tyreek Hill as the offensive player of the year this year. And justifiably so, he's been brilliant. I think right now it's this kid. He's playing better than anybody else in the league.
I agree. I think he's the best receiver in the NFL. I also think, in all due respect to Steph and Devontae, he's got the best releases in the NFL right now. We've talked about this. Like, sometimes these receivers win at the line of scrimmage with, like, chop, chop, chop. He wins at the line of scrimmage with such press vertically. You know, like, if you think about the ability, this is beautiful. Watch this at the top of the line of scrimmage. This slow skip. Guys, he wins right now. He's 5-6 yards down the field on 3rd and 3, and he wins. This next one on the slant, for me, is awesome. Watch this step out, and then RC, watch how he dips right there. Like, he gets kind of skinny off of that defensive back. What's that do to you guys, right? And then that
can't get hand placement.
Right? I mean, the thing is, he's the best at the line.
I got to watch him at age 16 at an LSU camp where he killed everybody. And he was like 145 pounds soaking wet, and they didn't offer him. Justin Jefferson has had to work on his craft to get to this point. And that's why we see so much nuance in his route running.
He and Jamar Chase were on the same team at LSU. It's hard to believe.
That's why they didn't lose a game.
All right, and by the way, the weekend is not over tonight. Oh, we got the NFL's last unbeaten team.